Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I've been licensed to practice clinical psychology in the state of California since 1974. And I like to say I've been licensed to walk upon this earth since 1941. And in less than 4 weeks, I'll be 82 years old. It's been an amazing journey. It's been a privilege to be here with everybody, truly. So it's my intention to bring to you my insights and lessons and inspirations of a lifetime to help really uplift you and your loved ones for the rest of your lives. That's my intention. The title of today's presentation is Fatal Psychological Errors. Fatal Psychological Errors. It's a compilation of about 17 major mistakes that I've seen that people make that really damages them. Heck, damaged me. I made those same errors. Didn't really know what I was doing until I was 70 years old. I was a slow learner. And the last 12 years, I've have some pretty good understandings of things, but I keep growing and expanding. So what's the number one fatal psychological error? Loss of perspective. Loss of perspective is the first of the fatal psychological errors. In fact, it's the mother of all errors. Let me show you how it works. Somebody's going through stress. It could be a relationship problem, a problem with a supervisor at work, medical problems, whatever it is. And what happens is the world gets to find, they say, I see the nature of reality. I'm having this relationship problem. I'm having a problem with my wife. She's always on my case. I'm so upset the things she said to me. I feel so insulted by what she said. So the whole universe becomes this marital problem, this relationship problem. So the fact that the children are healthy, that you're healthy, that your parents are healthy, that you have a good job, all of that no longer exists. All of that. The fact that you have your eyes working and you're hearing, and the fact you have this finger, that finger, each eye is working, just infinite number of things are there working. Doesn't exist. The loss of perspective gets that serious. So the number one fatal psychological error is loss of perspective. And now the way I've attempted to help myself and help all of you with this is to present to you the teachings of honor. I have it as a book. I have a total of 95 books I've written that help with this, 880 lectures that are all recorded on video, many of which are on the Honor Movement, honormovement.org, which is a free public service website, and then the paid website, which is even more expansive, honortherapy.com. So it's all meant to prevent that loss of perspective. Yes, loss of perspective. Number two, kind of goes along with that, because like I said, that's the mother of them all. Lack of gratitude. The second most fatal psychological error is lack of gratitude. None of us are grateful enough for all the bounties and blessings we have in our lives. What has to do with our marriage, the fact that we can see, that we can perceive beauty, that we can enjoy, that we can do something meaningful, that we have love in our hearts, that we're loved by some people, and we love people. All that, we're not even grateful. Or if you're an American here, the rights that we have and security that we have as Americans, whatever criticism we want to make, we can still walk on the streets and express ourselves, and grateful to be alive. More and more people just feel entitled. There's not sufficient gratitude. So one of the thoughts that we can use on that is, if you believe in God, we wake up and say, thank you, God. When you're going to sleep, thank you, God. If you don't want to address God, you just go, thank you. It's just sort of like to the universe. Thank you. I'm grateful. One of the laws of honor is, I'm extremely grateful. There's 25 laws of honor, 4 commandments of honor, the bridge, supremacy of honor code, the laws of love, with a whole system of thoughts, which I've talked about in many different videos. Lack of gratitude is the second most devastating, fatal psychological error. And you're not sufficiently grateful. I'm not sufficiently grateful. I'm a heck of a lot more grateful than I used to be. And I know you're growing in that also. But there's so much room to grow in gratitude. Gratitude, you know, somebody's serving you in a restaurant, grateful that you have the money to even go pay for that meal. It's just grateful that, you know, you have loved ones in your life, grateful that you're loved, grateful you have a good job, or you're making a living. It just goes on and on. It's infinite, infinite. Lack of gratitude is the second most devastating psychological error. Now, related to that, of course, because the mother commandment is loss of perspective, is overreacting. The third most devastating psychological error, fatal psychological error. What I mean by fatal, it destroys us. It ruins our cardiovascular health. We're upset from it, get angry, we're more prone to heart attacks from it. Overreacting. Most of the time, something minor happens. We get into an argument, we overreact. You know, a month later, you don't remember what the heck the fight was about. Overreacting, you can't find something, you go into a panic. You have a catastrophic expectation. Oh my God, my world is destroyed. Overreacting. Again, the whole system of honor is meant to bring us more rationality through the way of honor. So the three most devastating psychological errors: loss of perspective, lack of gratitude, and overreacting. They're all related. Somebody cuts you off and you're driving, you take it personally, and you overreact. Some people start flipping them off, screaming, beeping the horn. And one of the laws of honor is I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. Overreacting, I mean, people go really crazy, become literally homicidal, ramming, and their cars are just really creating dangerous situations. Just overreacting. This is just for one example. Now, related to this, the fourth most devastating psychological error is blaming. Most of us make ourselves a victim. They did this, they did that to me. This person did this, that one did that. We blame it. It was your fault. You did this. Now, sometimes we're truly a victim, and blaming might be warranted, but most of the times we co-created it. Most of the times we've co-created our problem, and that understanding helps get us out. So one of the commandments of honor is this: I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. That helps us get away from the blaming. We take responsibility, we empower ourselves, we don't give away the power. See, I co-create it, I can unco-create it. So I would say those are the 4 biggest fatal errors. The others, the order is not as crucial here. People don't go for their dreams, their visions out of fear of failure. People are terrified of making errors, mistakes. That's why I have one video called The Power of Failures, that I talk about all my failures in my life and the amazing things that come out of that. Just going for it. And related to fear of failure is fear of rejection. People don't tell somebody how much they care, how much they need them, how much we love that person. Again, people are afraid to be vulnerable because that's part of the rejection. Gee, if I make myself vulnerable, that he knows I need him, knows that I care so much, he's going to take advantage of me. Well, maybe that would happen. But the way of honor, we don't let people take advantage of us. It's not good for us, and it's not good for them, and it's not good for the relationship. Fear of failure, fear of rejection. Then fear of love and intimacy. People are hurt, they love somebody and felt betrayed. So people develop a fear of love and intimacy. So they stay distant. They keep their walls up and miss out on tremendous warmth and beauty of life through loving. When we suppress the love that's within our hearts, that's a death in itself. It's a type of death. And we all have that love within ourselves. Now, related to that is a massive fear of trust, because people have been betrayed, let down, disappointed. There are many people I've known personally. I don't trust anybody. And they'll tell you, oh, I don't trust anybody. I mean, certainly there's a time for being cautious, having some wisdom with things, but trust is a decision. You say, look, I'm going to give my trust, give you the benefit of the doubt till you show me otherwise. And some people you can trust with your money, but you can't trust them emotionally. Some people you can trust emotionally, but you can't trust them with your money. It's not necessarily a generalizable thing where you're going to get betrayed in all areas with that person. The eighth, fear of change. People are used to, they don't want to change anything. They're used to their routine. Maybe even it's a little bit boring, but they don't want to change. People are threatened by that. It's like a threat to their sense of stability and orderliness in the universe. And being able to change. How many businesses have gone out of business because they couldn't change with the times? Common. Very common indeed. I mean, at some point, the horse and buggy was going out, cars were coming in, the signs were there, but people kept making these carriages and whatnot, and they couldn't go with the change, couldn't face things are changing. Just for example. Now, the next one, the ninth, is excessive materialism. People are just, it's a fatal error. People just want things, a bigger house, another TV, a better car, go shopping. It's almost like it's like a worshiping. It's like a temple, like a holy temple. The malls, worshiping at the malls. And what that is because there's so much of materialism, there's at least with denial of our spiritual nature. Leads to a denial of our spiritual nature, our divine nature. In fact, it becomes highly suspect. You say, well, if you think you're spiritual, you're just fooling yourself. You're just these collection of atoms, and that's it. And not realizing that that's been the indoctrination of a rampant, excessive materialism. So there needs to be a way of reminding yourself that, yes, we're material, we're bodies, we need things to survive, but also we have a higher nature, however you want to define that. Number 10, and certainly I could have put this one as number 5 or 4, failure to focus on priorities. I see this all the time with people. They don't achieve their goals in life because they get distracted with, they want to finish their education, but they get distracted with going after this and saying, I'm going to go have fun, let's go party. Just start losing their priorities. They'll forget, they fall in love with somebody, get married, and then they just hang out with their friends and abandon the love of their life. It's abandoned. They forget that this person's a priority. I see it all the time. Loss of priorities. As a matter of fact, if you have a major goal in any organization, it could be unify the world, bring love to the world, whatever it is. People will get distracted with minor issues. Oh, where we can have that meeting? That's going to be at John's house. Well, where's John's house? What's the next town over? By the pizza place. Oh, is that where it is? Oh, yeah. They'll just go off on that and get away from the fact why they're meeting. I've seen it so many times. Failure to focus on priorities. Now, number 11, I see people destroying their health all the time. People put their immediate pleasure over health. That's a fatal psychological, physiological error. Just tastes good, enjoy the texture, enjoy the flavor, even though it's toxic, and they know it's toxic. But they say, well, we only live once. Yeah, I gotta live once. Or We all got to go sometime. Those are some, you got to only live once. We all got to go sometime. Heck, I'm just going to keep eating this or keep smoking. Immediate pleasure over the health benefits. Now, number 12, failure to be your true self. Nobody told you that you can be who you really are. Failure to be your true self. People are imitating other people. I'm going to be accepted. They start acting like this person, that woman, this guy, to be accepted. And no one's ever said, you have a right to be who you really are. As long as expression of yourself is done in a respectful, real manner. I'm making that statement now. You have the right to be who you truly are. You have the right to be who you truly are, as long as the expression of your true self is in a respectfully real manner. So that leads to respectful, real communication, the type of communication that builds bridges and connection as opposed to walls and barriers. I've talked about that in many, many of my videos. Now, along those lines, people are afraid to be deep. They feel they've got to stay superficial. Certainly there's a place for superficial conversation. Absolutely, not putting that down. But there's fear to go deep. And we interviewed 1,800 people at the Nerenberg Institute. We found that 70% of the people want to have more deep conversations, not all the time, but at least 50%, because right now, maybe only 5% of the time there's deep conversations. This superficiality leads to much loneliness in the world. People yearn to have more meaningful, deeper conversations, just don't know how to go about it. I've given many lectures on how to do this. Number 14, there's a failure to recognize the discrepancy between who you are and who you think you are, who you say you are. Most people are just salesmen. They blow up their thing, they'll tell you I'm this, I'm that, and the other thing. Or particularly you get that in organizations with ideals, say religious organizations. Well, I believe in God, I believe in this, and therefore I am that. And really the person has so many flaws because we're all individuals struggling to manifest our greatest potential. But there is a failure to recognize the difference between what is really going on versus what is supposed to be going on. As a matter of fact, any kind of ideal people have, there could be a statement of the goals of an organization. That's the specified agenda. But the real agenda is differently. There's, for instance, trucking companies where the agenda is to serve the public and safety first. But the real thing is making money, and they just overload the people with packages and deliveries, even though it compromises safety. But that is in every organization. The stated ideal and the reality of the agenda, and very rarely people deal with it. To really understand what the real agenda is, don't look at what's being said. Look at the actions of the people. The actions will tell you, no matter what they say. It could be preaching love, right? Talk about we love each other, we love God, so what? But look at what they're doing. Half people end up killing them. People who preach love, often many religious people have ended up killing other people with different religious persuasions. So you got to look at actions, even more than the words. Now, most of you tell yourself a lot of bad stories. Bad things have happened to you, serious losses. I don't want to minimize it. Some of these losses are tragic. So it's a true loss. Absolutely. So you tell yourself these bad stories about how this was happening. Oh, it's so terrible. And it is terrible. But it's only half the story. There's always a gain. If you look into it, you'll always find gain. I made so many lectures where I've talked about that, and I've given so many good examples of it. It's a gain. Whenever there's a loss, you want to be able to say, what's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? So when you find yourself telling yourself bad stories, ask this question. What's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? That's one of the derivatives of one of the commandments of honor. Now here's a big one. People think they are the thoughts they have. So I'm really a negative person. I'm always having negative thoughts. I'm really an angry person because I really get all these angry thoughts. That's who I am. It's not your fault you're getting those thoughts. You didn't choose them. You're more a reflection of the thought you choose to have. So you can have a thought, I just want to punch this guy in the face. He's always insulting me and putting me down. But you can choose thoughts. People don't know in addition to the thoughts that pop into your mind, which really do not define who you are, you can choose thoughts. I can choose to balance it, not fight that thought, but balance it with, hey, bro, I wish you well. Have that thought. I wish you well. To balance that other thought. People don't know you can choose thoughts. In fact, I even have a video for children to teach them called Happy Thoughts for Happy Kids. I have a Happy Thoughts Club for children. I would say the 17th one is relationships. People go on personality and looks, which are very important. The chemistry, particularly romantic relationship, but chemistry, personality, and looks. But somebody who's really good looking and a great personality can destroy you if they don't have good character. So really, in choosing particularly a romantic partner, it's very important to have somebody who's honorable or noble character. Without that, those good looks and great personality, you'll be hurt deeply. The character is not there. So that's another major error. Last but not least, but taking ourselves too seriously. That's part of loss of perspective. Being able to laugh at ourselves is really good medicine. In fact, one of the thoughts I developed for that for myself is, that's ridiculous, silly Willie. So I'll tell myself that. I see myself going into these rabbit holes, dark rabbit holes. I go, oh, that's ridiculous, silly Willie. Try to just lighten it up, but laugh at myself. So these were 18. It's a little bit arbitrary, the order to some extent. And I'm sure that, and some of these are overlapping, could have put different ones, but I would say right now we have those 18. And it's been my pleasure to present to you fatal psychological errors. And I want to open up for discussion, questions, and comments about what I presented. Christy, anything you want to ask or say about this?
First of all, thank you. This really spoke to me a lot. I think that, there's a lot of times when I've had loss of perspective, and it takes me a good 2 to 3 days because of the overreaction to come down from this. And, last year, I had an incident where I was just burnt out at work, and I ended up in the hospital. And it really, forced me to stop and take a look at what this is doing to my health. And
health is a key thing, and it's absolutely. And then the other part of it is a lot of people overreact because they take things personally. One of the laws of honor, it's not about me, nothing personal. Not about me, nothing personal. Because what people say to you that you don't like, it's not really about you. They just do this to everybody, typically. It's typically. So that's one of the things that causes overreaction, is taking things personally.
Absolutely. And this is happening right now in a relationship with my father, who I'm so close to this man, but he does these things to trigger me. And it's not because he doesn't love and care for me. It's just, this is how he is.
Well, that's good that you know that, but apparently the knowledge you have that will set you free, you're not able to live it as much as you want. Is that correct?
Yes.
See, that's the tragedy, one of the big tragedies of life, to not be able to live the truth we know. That's huge. That's why with the commandments of honor, the bridge, the supremacy of honor code, we repeat it all day long to internalize it. And that really makes it a part of us. To just know something and once in a while remind ourselves of it. It's not enough. We really need to be repeating it and internalizing it. Exactly.
Right.
You have so much self-awareness. I really respect that quality. Right? And you're very sincere about it. And you have a very sincere desire to improve yourself and live honorably. It's a great privilege to watch you be who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Say hi to Ryan. Yeah.
I will.
Jay, anything you want to ask or say?
Well, thank you, Doctor. These, every one of these psychological errors, I'm sure that most of us have experienced at one time or another. It maybe in a different order, but every one of them, I mean, I can relate to absolutely everyone that you've mentioned. And I think in the last couple of years, the vast majority of them don't exist anymore. They're all in the past. So
that's a
speaking
beautiful.
about this and working on these things, it definitely works. Definitely helps.
What do you think helps you so much with going beyond a lot of that?
Well, it's the honor,
The honor of following the way of honor.
Therapy, just dealing with everything that I deal with in honor. I try not to get angry anymore. I try to keep everything in perspective. I'm very grateful for what I have. At this point in my life, I control my anger. I used to have like road rage. Don't have that anymore. So
That's huge, right there. That's huge.
Just dealing with anger, and just forgiving people before you get angry.
Wow.
Is
Yeah.
my main goal is to forgive somebody before I get angry at them.
Wow. That's really profound. It's sort of a.
But all these definitely hit home at one time or another.
Well, that they all, yeah, it came from 82 years of life. And, it's like my father said to me, he said, son, I have a lot of good advice to give you, not because I've been so smart, just I've been so stupid. So I've done every stupid thing on this list and more. And that's part of how I can teach you about these things. Thank you for that, Jay. I just think you're a beautiful human being and a great example of an honorable man.
65 years of life, with 65 years of life, I have used this exact phrase with both my children in the last couple of years. I'm not telling you this because I'm smart. I'm telling you this because I'm dumb, and I've made these errors I'm trying to prevent you from doing.
See, that's a beautiful thing. I know when my father said it to me, I never forgot it, and passing it on to you. Very good to see you, Jay.
Yeah.
Bernice,
Doctor.
Thank you. Bernice, any comments or questions you might have?
As I can relate to so many of these, it's unbelievable. I'm like, is that natural?
Yes. Hey, listen, I recognize them. This isn't just something I observed in other people. I observed it in me, and I observed it around other people. And I felt pretty well with all of that through the way of honor. But if I slip, I just step right up and apologize or take responsibility and or expand out. So yeah, relating to every one of them is very healthy. It's a healthy sign.
Okay, because I was like, that's a lot of relating that I can do.
Yeah, no, don't worry that you relate too much of it, because that shows. See, Bernice, you're very honest with yourself. Yeah, you don't try to pretend you're something other than what you are. We have this going on, and that's the first step to rising above it. And then you're a very dedicated student of the way of honor, and by nature a very decent, good human being with a loving heart.
So recognizing it, maybe that's the takeaway, is like recognizing that you can relate so much to these and working on it, instead of just pushing it aside or pretending like you don't have these issues.
Yeah, when you see yourself doing it, to the extent that you're deep into the way of honor, the teachings of honor, you'll find one of the teachings that will help you with every one of them. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Bernice. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's definitely applicable to like blaming. Just wish people well. Regardless of how they did you wrong.
Wish them well. Neutralize it. Be cautious with them. Don't let them damage you anymore. But move on. You don't want to type more energy.
One thing that I could say that I would like to definitely hone in on and focus and practice more is not overreacting. And
an important one on that, it's not about me, nothing personal. That's a lot of it is because we're taking things personal that people are doing. That's a big one. It's not the only one, but it's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one for me, because I tend to overanalyze why someone did something to me, or why they said something, or it's just too much of I dig too deep into it.
Well, you go out, you can't help doing that. Go dig in, say, oh, they do. It's not about me, it's nothing personal. I wish you well. You balance it. You don't fight all that negative. People think they can stop themselves from these lifetime of habits of going into all this negativity. No, I say just let it be. Allow the negativity to be. It's not your fault. You didn't choose it. It's just how you found yourself to be. But you can also choose other thoughts to balance it, not fight it, not overcome it, to balance it. Hey, it's not about me. It's really nothing personal. And hey, I wish you well. You balance it.
Yeah.
That's, you just balance it. And
Yeah, I think
you
that's
allow the balance to
important.
be. What's that, Bernice?
Yeah, I think that's important to remember. I've done that a few times where certain things, and it really does take off a lot of this like burden you put on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, people can notice they have these imperfections, all of these flaws, and beat themselves up. Oh, God, I'm so terrible. I have all of this. Don't worry about it. However many you have, you didn't choose one of these for yourself. You didn't say, you know what, I want to overreact. You know what, I don't want to trust people. You know what, I don't want to change. You know what, I like being overly materialistic. You didn't choose these thoughts. This is just how you found yourself to be based on the society you're living in, genetics, and family upbringing. You have no responsibility for that. You do have responsibility, but now that you have this knowledge, to balance it in an honorable, positive, constructive manner. That is your responsibility. But don't worry. It took me many, many years to, stop saying, God, how come I'm like this? Oh my God. So it takes a while to say, wait a minute. I was probably maybe close to 70 when I finally said, I didn't choose it. I'm not responsible for having these thoughts. And I started understanding that there's thoughts that are involuntary. And by the way, most people's thoughts, naturally, 80% of people's thoughts are negative. 80%. And 95% of those are recurrent thoughts. They keep coming back. So it takes being well-versed in the way of honor to be able to balance that. I mean, that's why people commit to repeating the commandments of honor and the bridge 3 times a day for life, because it takes that commitment to not be trapped in the natural proclivity towards negativity. And sooner, 80% of people's thoughts are negative. Yeah, and that's not just you or me. That's everybody, pretty much across the board.
Yeah, and I feel like not only blaming towards other people, so like, I think sometimes we can blame ourselves too a little bit too much.
Some people beat themselves up. You did something, you say, well, I slipped up, let me rectify that. Or let me use that to motivate me to be a better human being. That's the gain in that. Or, you know what? I did that out of ignorance. It's much my fault. I was raised that way, but I'm going to go beyond that now. So some guilt is good, or even shame sometimes, to move us beyond being that way. But yeah, you want to be able to do this, taking responsibility without beating ourselves up. You could say, I wish myself well, I love myself, or whatever thoughts you want to have to stop that beating up, to balance the beating up.
Yeah.
So I'm such a terrible person, I did this and that.
Yeah.
You know what? I wish myself well, I love myself. I'm going to do some good things. It's going to motivate me to be an even better person.
Right. I feel like I'm glad I kind of brought that up, because it's so like common to kind of push things outward, like, oh, I blame other people, but let's talk about blaming ourselves, because sometimes what we do to ourselves is so much worse than what other people do to us.
Amazing. On the NEI, Nerenberg Emotional Inventory, that people fill out every month, I'm seeing one of them is guilt feelings, and then people have guilt about all kinds of things. I have people that are guilty about someone who died in their family because they could have done more. I mean, just find some way to beat themselves up. So I'll use this. Okay, I'm not going to try to talk them out of their guilt. You can't talk people out of beating themselves up. Say, okay. I say, well, the person died. You feel some responsibility. It's not even rational, but you have that. I'm not going to ask you to stop beating yourself up, knock yourself out, beat yourself up. But then at the end, after you finish beating yourself up, say, God willing, they're okay in the next life. God willing, they're doing fine on the other side. Just balance it with that. The idea of just trying to talk people out of their negativity, forget about it. Balance it with honorable, constructive, positive thoughts. That's the key. That's key. That's a paradigm shift.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like not fighting it because then it becomes stronger.
Oh, you're going to lose. You can't win that battle.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely, you won't win. Because you know you're just trying to justify something. You try to say, no, but I have a good reason, blah, blah, blah. And that might be totally true. But you deep down feel, who am I kidding? I'm guilty here. I'm just trying to justify the wrong I did. You'll never get past that. You'll always feel like you're just trying to fool yourself. You say, okay, I think I'm being hard on myself, but you know what? I'm also a very good person. I'm really this could motivate me to walk the path of honor more sincerely. Yeah, these are wonderful, wonderful points as always, Bernice. Good going.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else have anything you want to ask or say about?
Doctor?
Yes.
Okay, earlier today I took a drive to San Diego.
Yes.
And for a panel meeting because I got in trouble and hopefully I'm going to get my job back. When we were at that meeting, the company was presenting their case against me, and a lot of it was BS, but a lot of it was true, and I didn't want to hear that. Because I was blaming others for my. I was not admitting that I was at fault. And I was blaming everybody else except me. But on my way back from San Diego, it's a 2-hour drive. I kept thinking, and I realized that I caused everything. The problem that I got into, it was my fault. It was nobody else's. But I was always feeling sorry for me and blaming others.
So was that liberating to you when you took responsibility?
It was, because I was by myself driving back home 2 hours, and I had plenty of time to think about the bridge, the commandments, and it just I just felt a lot better.
You know, Arturo, I'm very impressed with you. I have been for a while. I've seen you get pretty negative. You can get pretty riled up. And I've seen you step back and say, hey, wait a minute, I apologize. I don't want to be like that anymore. I've seen you do it, and you've just done it here again. This is like you should receive like a peace award for this. This is miraculous. I would say, here you are, this tough Marine, very macho guy, and look what you're becoming. Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Thanks a lot, Doctor. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, beautiful. Anybody else have anything you want to say or ask?
Doctor, yes, I wanted to say something.
Is this
How are you,
Kimberly?
by the way? Yes.
Oh, Kimberly, I
made
recognize your
it.
voice. I don't see you. Okay, wow, I'm glad you could make it.
I know, sorry, I'm driving right now.
Yeah, well, I'm
Just
glad
got
you're
out of
here.
class not too long ago. I just wanted to say, it was actually pretty amazing what Bernice said when she said that. I probably am not. I don't want to mess up what she said, but when it was somewhere along the lines that what we do to ourselves is a lot worse than what other people do to us, and that was like such an eye opener, because I'm like, I always kick myself in the butt every single time for other people always trying to put me down, and I feel like I'm always like, I take it too hard, and I'm always just thinking about it, and I'm actually just going through something like that at school, when every time I do better than this one girl, like, she just makes me feel bad about it, or she won't be like, oh, congratulations. She'll just walk away really
Listen,
upset.
you're always going to meet people who are jealous. You're going to find people who are naysayers, who find fault in you, who don't like you, who feel inferior and kind of get into some kind of competition to try to beat you in some way and just get out and out mean about it. That's going to be all your life. So you really need to quicken in the thought and deepen in the thought. It's not about me, nothing personal. This girl, she has her insecurities or whatever, and I'm sure she has a lot of problems with a lot of other people. So you have to learn certain lessons, that being one of them. The other one was, I think I forgot to mention one. Yeah. Another one was being defined by what other people tell us who we are. That's one of the fatal errors. Being defined by what other people say we are. Somebody could give you the message, you're stupid, you're a failure, you're a loser, you made a mistake, you're just a bad person, whatever. It's always going to be people give me that message, and then a fatal error that people make is they internalize that and they say, "Oh, bad person, I'm a failure, I'm a loser." It's particularly hard if it comes from a parent figure, but anybody can be tough. And for those who believe in God, the best one is this one. Only God knows only God truly knows who I am, and only God could judge me truly. Nobody's going to fully, yeah. Only God truly knows me, and only God could judge me truly. Nobody really knows you. God knows you. Next would be probably yourself. But even with us, we can fool ourselves. Some ways we might hide certain things from ourselves or try to. Only God truly knows me, and only God could judge me truly. Now, if people don't believe in God, the person would say, well, he doesn't really know me, so he's telling me that I'm more than that. Somebody might say, you're stupid. Well, yeah, in some ways I am stupid. In some ways, almost everybody's stupid. Yeah, in some ways I'm stupid. But in other areas, I'm a genius, or I'm very talented and gifted. I always tell people my ignorance knoweth no bounds. So many areas I'm really, really, really ignorant. So if somebody was to say, boy, you are ignorant, I would go, yeah. In most areas, I'm very ignorant. But in some areas, I have a lot of depth and understanding. So that's one of the ways is to see the truth in the criticism. And if there's truth in it, you agree with the truth part, but you don't let that define us because we're more than whatever that negative quality is. We were created as noble beings. Whatever low-life people are accusing us of being, but also we have that low-life dimension, but we're also noble beings. And the other part of particularly people that believe in God, we're not who you say I am. I'm not even who I say I am. I am who God says I am. I'm not who you say I am. I'm not who I say I am. I am who God says I am. Created in the image of God. I'm a divine, noble creature. These are very spiritual approaches for people who don't believe. There's another approach to it, but that's for people who believe like myself and like you. That's where you go. So, and again, it's harder to do when your parents are giving you a bad message. That's a tougher place, but it's doable. Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I was saying that I absolutely loved what you said about only God truly knows me, because it is true. I feel like a lot of people never really understood where I'm coming
nobody's
from,
going to truly. They're going to misjudge you all the time, all the time.
And they do, and you would think that by now I would I would understand and not get so upset, because I hurt a lot all the time, because I always try to do good deeds to
because what hurts you is you're internalizing, you're interjecting that negative feedback. It's one thing to say, yes, I have some of that, some truth to it. A lot of times these criticisms have some truth, and then you see, and I'm much more than that. And I'm not who you say I am, I'm who God says I am. You want to balance it. You don't want to fight it. You're going to get this. I'm glad you want to go deep and take this to heart, everything I'm saying to you, because you're going to run into this all your life, without except wherever you are, you're going to be hearing, and you're going to hear it even from people that you love a lot.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor. No, absolutely.
No, I'm really thank you for being here. I know how busy you are as a student, a nursing student. I'm just so happy you're here, Kimberly.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely. I try to make it as much as possible, because I always walk out with a different mindset and a lot more positive, and I'm just like, okay, I can do this, like just what you just said right now, like only God truly knows me. And what Bernice had mentioned, like I absolutely loved it, because it is true. I need to stop that. I feel like I just make things a lot worse, because I just overthink things, and I'm like, I shouldn't, you can
overthink it all you want. Listen, Kimberly, you can't help overthink. Go ahead and beat yourself up, overthink it, feel miserable, but then balance it. After you've done enough of this torturing yourself, then balance it with an honorable, constructive, positive. I'm not going to tell you stop doing that. No. Go ahead and do it. Beat yourself up. Overdo it. You know what the heck? Only person doesn't even know me. Only God truly knows me, and only God could judge me truly.
Yes.
It's not about me. It's nothing personal. Just balancing it. Don't use it to fight the other. But go ahead and beat yourself up to your heart's content. You just go ahead and do it. You can't help it.
Yeah.
But you can help the
But
balancing.
yeah,
But you can't help what you balance it with. You can help that.
yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, and that's what I need to do, and I feel like I just need to learn how to do that. So I feel like I have to just put a
You
lot
won't be able
like,
to
every
do
time
it
I
if you don't
type
keep
out.
Kimberly, you will not be able to do this unless you're repeating these truths every day throughout the day. So you always have it ready to
Yes,
go. I
exactly.
mean, if you don't keep
Exactly.
reviewing this every day, these thoughts, time hits, you'll get trapped right back in the old pattern, totally trapped.
Yeah.
This will help create some new neural pathways. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
My
I really
pleasure.
appreciate.
My privilege.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good night. It's been a pleasure to present Fatal Psychological Errors.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.